My friends, Angela Wilson is a champion for women's courage. She's an international bestseller, international speaker, and a financial healer. She's the founder of Angela Unlimited, an organization that assists women to transform their mindsets that are limiting them for living their own life of unlimited possibilities. Angela uses her personal experience where she's learned to listen to the little voice that kept asking, isn't there more to life than this? She found the courage to say, yes, there is. And so you can too. And that's part of what she's going to support us with today. I also want you to know that Angela has the biggest heart. She is 1000% committed to supporting women to uplift their lives. And I am so honored to introduce her to you today as our speaker. Bing, bing, bing. Thank you, Angela. The floor is yours.
Wow. Thank you for that introduction, Katarina. I really appreciate that. And I'm so happy to be here with everybody today. So today what we're going to be talking about is dreams, because that's one of my favorite things to talk about. And when I'm talking about dreams, I'm talking about those dreams of your future, not the ones at night. The ones at night can get scary sometimes, just say it. So, and it's really about how to really dive into these and how to go after the life that your heart desires, not just live in life. We want the one that our heart desires. So dreams really play an important part in our lives. And yet we spend so little time creating them, building them, and playing with them, or even really thinking about them. The dreams, as I said, I'm speaking of are those dreams of our future. And so I want to ask you, just contemplate this for a second. When was the last time that you thought about them? When was the last time you really spent much time on them? We do this a lot as kids because we daydream, but we lose that curiosity and that wonder as we get older. Why do you think that is? Well, I've spoken to a lot of women over the years about this topic and also looked at it from my own experiences. And there's three things that are a common theme. The first one is we're too busy working at all the things that we need to do, so we just don't fit it in. The second one is we don't feel that we deserve them. And the third one is we have no idea how we would possibly even go after them. So don't even think about them because it's just too much. Well, unfortunately, when we're in those spots, those are in spots of really holding ourselves back. And that's not living in the land of the life of our heart's desire. So we're stuck and we can't see any of the possibilities that are around us. And that's really not the way that we're supposed to live, because we're here to live the best life possible. And when we're holding ourselves back, what we're doing is we're playing small. We were never put on this earth to play small. Playing small is one of those stories that we took on over time. We heard it wherever we heard it. I know I took that on for a very long time, and I know a lot of other women that have as well. That's not why we're here. We also hear a lot of other stories, and I deal with my clients a lot with regards to stories so we can change their mindset with regards to money. Stories in money plays a huge role. And what I've found is we really have that, the things that we've heard, those, okay, you have to work really hard for your money, and money doesn't grow on trees. Money's the root of all evils. There's all kinds of them. I could ask every single one of you, and I bet you could come up with at least 4 or 5 each. Some of them might be the same, some of them might be different, because the way we've interpreted what we've heard or observed through our lens shifts it as well. And so, for me in the past, it was really one of these things. And this is why I got so passionate about wanting to assist women to move beyond this. And it's because, so what wasn't in my bio is the fact that I'm a CPA. So I know a little bit about money. But here's the thing. Even though I had that educational background, And yes, I had and still have a very profitable, successful accounting practice. I could do that all day long for my clients. But prior, what I call my prior life, I don't know if anybody else has what they call their prior life, but I call it my prior life because I don't identify as that same person as I was back then. And so what it was though, was I couldn't keep up with all of the wants in the house, even though there was ample money in the house. The wants really outweighed that. And so what happened was, at that time, I really felt that I wasn't worth as much as other people. I also felt that I wasn't as smart as other people. And interestingly enough, there wasn't a lot of conversation in my household about the fact that about anything about money, except for the fact that I didn't have it handled and that I was just not very good at anything. And so I took that on more. And what happened was what I call my inner chatter, that negative self-talk that we have, it ramped up even more because I was hearing how I wasn't that smart. So what I did to myself was I said, "Oh, let's tell yourself that you aren't that before anybody else does, because let's make sure that you can rustle through everybody else." It's not a good spot to live. It's actually a really horrible spot to live. And so I really wanted no other women to have to live like that. And it's a journey. And so what I found is, knowing from my standpoint, I also know that other women have this as well. And we really don't want to admit it out loud. And so the struggle with the relationships with money that women have, again, there's three. I don't know why. It's always a rule of threes with me, but you'll hear threes a lot because that's the way it goes. And so the three angles are, they don't feel like they're doing a good job of managing their money. And they're struggling because they do not want anybody to know that. The second one is really, they're afraid that their money isn't going to carry them through their life expectancy. And they're worried about what they're really spending. And then the third one is they have a real love-hate relationship with money because they think they're doing a decent job at it, but they hide their success because they don't want anyone to judge them. All three are fear-based. We're playing into the fears and the shame and the doubt that surrounds us with money. And I'm here to say, money we have to let go of it having any power over us. Money is simply a reciprocal act of thank you. That's all it is. For lots of us that have service-based businesses, we give our services, somebody else gives us money. We go then to the grocery store, we give money, we get a product. It's just a reciprocal act of thank you. So I'm just saying thank you every time I put out money. That's all it is. And it's really, money is all about the energy of it as well, because here we are, everything is made up of energy. And we want to get to that spot where we start using money as a tool in our lives, as opposed to it having this power over us. Again, it's the stories that we've heard, and society has put this meaning around money. And it's time for us to really change that, because it's not the case. Once we get to that spot of money's just a tool in our lives, it becomes joyous, actually. And all the things that you can do, and we're going to get to that point, because that's where the dreams come in. And where you get to go in your life is, I think, purely magic. And actually, I said to a client just the other day, once we get that, our dreams live in our money, and it's all part and parcel and intertwined, that's where the magic happens. So it's really time to stop the cycle of the struggle. And it honestly is it's gone on for generations. And so I'm here to have women go, no, we're done with this. Let's do it a different way now. And one way that we can do that is by giving ourselves permission to actually have dreams. And those dreams are going to be unique to every single one of us because we're all unique. There's this great quote that I read just the other day, and it goes hand in hand with this because it says, nobody can go back and start a new beginning, but anyone can start today and make a new ending. And that was Maria Robinson that comes from. And it is so true. So when I'm working with clients with regards to money, one of the first things that we do is we dive in and find out, okay, where are you right now? It doesn't matter what happened in the past. I can't fix that. That's not going to, no. Let's find out where we are and move forward from there. And this is the same thing. You know, the other part of this is every single day is an absolute new beginning if we choose it to be. We're not the same person we were yesterday that we are today. We each, every single day, take on new experiences, new wisdoms, new learnings. It has to make us a new person. And yet we keep telling ourselves that we have to do the old things, and we don't. We get to choose. So the reason I started out talking to you about money is because it has such a big part in our dreams. And that's because, for the most part, our dreams need to be funded. That's going to be money. So let's start playing with money. Let's start having money be this fantastic thing that we play with. It's just with us all the time. No big deal. That's where we want to get to. And that's what I mean when I say that it needs to be a tool in your life. Because it's there just to play with us. It comes to us, through us, and we get to go where we want to go. So with dreams, typically, here comes another set of threes. There are three things that are holding us back. And that is that we don't dream of our future in this regard because we just kind of do the, oh, well, you know, one day we'll get to that. And they really filter into the maybe one day. And we think that for dreams too, we think that we don't deserve them. We don't deserve to live the life of our heart's desire. And the third thing is we stop ourselves from dreaming because we're not sure how to get there. So it's probably not going to happen. Well, that's not true. We just don't know how to get there at the moment. You know, I firmly believe that you don't have to know how to get there. You just need to start somewhere. And it comes from, and you know, I can't remember, I've heard this several places, so I can't quote the actual person that did it, but it basically says, if you had to know what was around every corner before you went out to drive, you'd never go anywhere. You'd stay home because you'd be paralyzed. You wouldn't be able to go out driving. It's the same thing with your dreams. You don't have to know how to get there. What you have to do, not have to, what you really want to do, what you get to do is you get to actually dream and then start stepping in and go on the adventure of what they really are. And, you know, it's interesting. And so one of the things when I start working with dreams with my clients, usually the first thing people say is, oh, that's too big. I don't think I can do that. Well, guess what the first thing is that I go after with my clients? I want that big, scary dream. I want the one that they don't want to talk out loud to at all. I want the one that they're kind of going, oh, maybe not this one. And I'm going, no, that's the one I want. If it's the one that you think you can achieve, you're not dreaming big enough. Let's go after the great big one. And, you know, it's interesting because I was working with a client, and so I work with clients, several different age brackets and what have you. And it's interesting because when I mentioned before with regards to a lot of women think, oh, my money might run out. And how am I going to afford? So I better hold back. I better hold on to everything. And I've heard that from very different age brackets. And I was working with a young lady that was in her late 20s, and she had ample income. And I was like, okay, great. What are we going to do? And she said, I'm so afraid. I am so afraid that this money is going to run out. And I said, well, yeah, but you're only in your late 20s. What makes you think it's going to run out? And we started talking. You know, one of the things, she was so full of anxiety and she couldn't see beyond what she could see. So she was stuck in that spot. So we started discussing about, okay, what's your one year goal? What's your 1 year dream? What's your 2 year dream? What's your 5 year dream? And then I got to the big scary one because she wouldn't tell me it at first. It took a couple of conversations to get that one out of her. And I just want to pause just for a second here. I'm using the word dreams. Some people would use the word goals. I don't use the word goals because for me, for a lot of people, that has a charge to it. So they start as soon as they hear goals and they go success, failure. That's not what we're talking about here. I never talk about success and failure because I believe it's polarizing and I don't want to go there. And also when you get right down to it, again, those are stories that we've heard from society about success and failure. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty glad that the person that invented the light bulb didn't stop at the first time they didn't create the light bulb. It took many, many, many iterations. If they had gone, oh, fail, done, we wouldn't think of all the inventions because most of them, that's exactly what it is. That took many, many, many attempts. And so that's why I don't use those. And, you know, it's also, I look at my own life and I go, oh, if I had stayed in that comfort zone of, I can't fail, I can't put myself out there, guess what? I wouldn't be standing here talking to you today because I would have been too afraid. I would have stayed in my comfort zone. I would have been afraid to talk to you. And I have met through speaking and all kinds of other types of things. I've met so many amazing, amazing women, and I've had so many amazing conversations that I'm so glad that I stopped buying into those stories and started living my life by my own story and really jumping out there and being here with you. So I'm going to bounce back now to that late 20-year-old. So her big dream was she wanted a vacation home in Ireland. And she was like, but Angela, I can't do that. And I said, why can't you? So we started talking about possibilities. What might you be able to do? And as we discussed it, it was like, oh, well, you only want to use it for part of the time. So let's rent it out. Let's investigate, you know, how much it would cost. Oh, wouldn't it be great if, you know, what you could charge would pay all of your mortgage costs, all of your upkeep costs, everything, and put some dollars in your pocket. I don't know about you, but I like making money while I sleep. I'm just saying. So I was thinking, okay. And she got excited. And so it's something that's really on her radar and she's going after because she's so excited and so passionate, but she didn't think that she would be able to do that kind of thing. And so another example of that as well is I was speaking with a lady that's in her late 60s. She's around 68. Again, ample income, but she's so afraid of doing anything because it may run out. And she was living in the what if. The one thing I know is if you live in the what if land, you will paralyze yourself because you won't move forward. You won't do anything. So it's really about stepping out and going for those dreams. And so the keys to about dreams and your future are, the first one is you have to intentionally dream. And I'm going to explain all these in a bit of detail for you, but I'm just going to list them off first for you. And the second is your dreams have to live in 3 key places. And the third one is you have to take action. So intentional dreaming. So I'm going to walk you through what one of mine are just so you get a really good feel for this. So I'm going to describe something, and I'd actually like you all to just close your eyes because I really want you to try to visualize this and hear my words. So just close your eyes. So I'm living in the south coast of Spain on the Mediterranean. There's a breeze blowing in off of the Mediterranean. I can feel the cobblestones under my feet as I walk. I can hear my shoes clicking on the cobblestones as I walk. I can smell that lovely bread from the bakery that I discovered just the other day. The sun is warm on my skin. Oh, it's so lovely. I can hear children playing. I love their laughter. The colorful buildings, oh, they just bring such a smile to my face. And I love just standing here and wondering, who decided to do these colors? Who created this architecture? Were you able to get a sense of being right there? You can open your eyes now. So were you able to get a sense? I just want some head nods. Were you able to get a sense of being right there? Perfect. That's what intentional dreaming is. So I do that because at a moment's notice, I can close my eyes and I can be right there. I want you to dream and make your dreams be so incredibly real that you can just close your eyes and be right there. So make sure when you do this, you bring in sights and smells and sounds and colors. And how does it make you feel as you're doing it? And, it's also bringing in the feeling of, oh, how am I going to feel when I actually get there? So drive the excitement. That's what you want. So that's what intentional dreaming is about. So where should your dreams live? Just before I move on, the other thing that I really want to mention is you want to get to that point of excitement and really go, oh, yes, please. I choose this, please. That's where you want to be. Okay, so where should your dreams live? Again, there's 3 spots. One is you need to write them down. You can write them down pen and ink, no problem. You can type them if that's your thing, because not everybody likes to write things down. Whatever it is for you, again, we're all unique. Please do what's best for you, but you want them to live in writing somewhere because you want to be able to go back and revisit them. Because you want to go back to revisit them, to bring your passion forward, but you also want to go back because, as I said, every day we change. So when you look at them a year from now, you're going to be a different person. So you want to revamp them. You want to bring them back. You want to bring them into where you are now. And the other reason to write them down is you want to it brings in another sense. It makes it tactile. So it really solidifies it more in your being. So that's one spot. The second spot is it needs to live in your money. It and your money has to be intertwined. And that's why I work with my clients on dream maps, what I call dream maps. Some people would call them financial plans. There's a B word I'm not going to use because I don't like that B word. But it's just a plan. And what it does is it lets you take your dream and go, oh, I'm going to set this aside for this specific purpose. And I can do that this way. And it lets you plot it all out. The third place that it needs to lie is in your heart. Because when it's in your heart, then it's your passion. And when it lives in your heart, you can become more and more passionate about it. And the more passionate you become about it, the faster it comes into your life because you're going after it now. You're making choices every single day to move towards that, as opposed to, I could use another purse. I could use another pair of shoes. I could use no, I want to go live in Europe. That's what I want to do. So I'm good with 4 pairs of shoes. I don't need 6. That kind of thing. It's, again, decisions that you want to make. They're all unique to us. Here's the one spot that I want to say that dreams absolutely cannot live. And that is in your head. If dreams are living just in your head, what's going to happen? Poof, they're going out of your head because you're going to get busy. Life's going to happen. You're not going to stay passionate about them, and they're just going to fizzle out. So that's why I'm saying those were the three places for them to live. So the final part of your dreams is you need to take action. Action is critical for them. And that's because as you're taking action, again, you get more passionate about it. You take steps. This is where you learn, oh, this is another step we can take and another step we can take to get to the dream. And then as we're taking those steps, other steps open up. And that's why I said you don't have to know them all at the beginning. One step, another step, and they multiply and magnify themselves. So as you're taking action, some of the action steps are making your dream map that I mentioned, which again is a plan. And as I said, I work with my clients on that because it's one of those things that unless we're aware of where we are and where we want to go, again, we're not going to get there because things are going to happen and it's going to become one day maybe, or it's going to go in the pile of possibilities. It's not going to become reality. I want the life of your heart's desire. I want that to become your reality. That is where I want you to live. So another action step is diving in and discovering more pieces about your dream. So, like the client that I mentioned with the vacation home she wanted. She had no idea how to start. And I just started asking her questions. Ask questions on how you might be able to get there. Are there creative ways that you can find other streams of revenue? Are there creative ways that you can cover the expenses? It's about being playful and going after what you really want. Another action step is revisit your dreams often. And the one that is one of my personal favorites, to be honest, is dreams love to be part of your conversations. Make them part of your conversations. The more part they are of your conversation, the more real they become, the more excited you get about them, the more passionate you are. And guess what? Instead of maybe 10 years down the road, they're 5 because you've gone after them with so much passion and so much enthusiasm. So I would really encourage you to really start dreaming and taking action. You absolutely, I know from the bottom of my heart, you absolutely have the courage in your heart to do it. It's time to really start living by your own story and allowing yourself to be fully you and to go after those dreams. So that's why in my bio, Katarina said, I'm a champion for women's courage because I believe that we all have that courage inside us. Sometimes we just need someone to go, oh, there it is, and help us tap into it. That's why I'm passionate about really dealing with money and having dreams become a reality for so many people. So I'm going to leave you with a final thought. And that is, it's time to stop being busy and not dreaming. It's time to stop living in fear, shame, and doubt. And it's absolutely time to start tapping into your courageous heart and going after the life of your heart's desire. I know you can do it. So let's talk so you can discover how. Thank you so much, ladies, for having me today.
Thank you, Angela. That was really thought-provoking and inspiring. And we do have a few minutes if anybody would like to tell Angela how that impacted you or share any thoughts, or if anyone has any questions. Well, Angela, I'll start with the first question, which is, okay, we've got these super full lives already. I love the idea of, making time to dream. How do full plate gals like the smiles on the screen, how do we do that?
Well, it goes into your schedule, Katarina. It goes on your calendar, as you would tell us. And it really does. What's that?
Okay, good. And I bet you have a opportunity for us to come and hang out with you related to this too. Is that right?
Absolutely. There's twice a month that I do free workshops online, and they're called Mastering Your Money Mindset. My next one's coming up May the 23rd.
Great. Please put that in the chat, Angela, so
Yep, I
all
will.
of us can take advantage of that. That's very exciting. Tracy has said that she's in your 6-week class and
Yes.
her dreams are big and sparkly and she's obsessed with them. And that's awesome. Thank you, Tracy. And Tracy, because you've spent more time with Angela, do you have a super tip on anything related to this with your work with Angela?
Yes.
You'd like to share? Go ahead.
Sure. So yes, I'm in Angela's 6-week class now because so Angela's in the Gather community, but we got to spend a lot of time together in early February, and I completely got sucked in, maybe is not the right word, but like I was so attracted to the idea. So it was like an attraction thing to the idea of allowing myself the space to focus not only on the things that I was imagining that I would want to do, but the big things that I was imagining. Because as she said, we don't often allow ourselves to believe that we can actually have the big things. In fact, I still am working through that as well, continuing to like shortchange what I think is possible. So I'm learning, and it's a journey. The ability to sit down and imagine, like and as you were talking, obviously in my brain, I'm like, oh, I need to write this down. And I just wrote down like the most beautiful, elaborate vision of the dream that I've been working on in Angela's class. And I'm like short of breath. I'm so excited, and it's amazing. So the space to do this work completely can transform your vision, your belief in what's possible for you. And I guess that's what I want to say, is that that's what Angela's helped me do.
That's awesome. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you. Anyone else have anything they'd like to share or ask Angela before we begin to wrap up? Okay, well, Angela, any final thoughts from you? And then we'll turn it back over to Megan.
Okay. So Katarina, so Tracy, thank you for that. And it really is, when you get to that spot, it's about really pulling yourself forward and believing in yourself, because it's also, so I also encourage my clients to celebrate themselves, and not just those great big things. It's like celebrate every single day, because as women, we don't do that. And so it's about lifting each other up, celebrating, and really going after things. And Katarina, I want to go back to the question that you asked, because yes, it needs to live in your schedule, but I also personally feel that this is a part of self-care, honestly and truly, because it's about letting go of the past and looking to your future and not buying into the old stuff and moving forward. So I just wanted to add that piece.
Thank you, Angela. Everybody, let's give a big round of applause for Angela. Yay.